Welcome back to the show, everybody. Check out these headlines we have for you. Gary Gensler's in the news. Who's he really working for? SEC completely all out in the SEC versus Ripple. We got Stuart Alderati on that and more. CFTC commissioner saying they don't believe in gotcha regulation. We're going to look at that. We got a chilling effect that could be happening from Coinbase. I think could be is happening. Going to prove it to you. And we got Jay Powell talking about inflation and recession. And I tell you, you're going to want every single bit of that. While the world is not waiting, they're taking action, and I'm going to prove it to you. Patrick McHenry gives us a timeline update on stablecoin legislation and so much more. Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. You can follow me on TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. We're everywhere. Give us a follow for exclusive content on all of those social media platforms. Good morning, everybody. It's July 28, 2022. $1.019 trillion market cap from CoinPetrica. Make sure you give them a follow. Download the app. Loving using this. By the way, I actually pull up my favorites here, and you can see a list of coins right now that I've been following. There are a few more that are not in this list. I will get them in there. But right now, this is a look at what I'm following. Not financial advice, just showing you some of the projects that I'm interested in. I either have a position in or I'm looking to learn more about them one way or the other. So that's where we are this morning. Let's go ahead and get back to the regular list. Bitcoin right now, 22,900 plus. It's on the climb, 7.6% in 24-hour. Ethereum up over 10% at 1,600 plus. And we see the number 7 spot holding strong is 35-cent XRP. We're up 5.15% on the 24 hour as well. Everything's on the move this morning, ranging between 34 cents on the bottom, 36 on the top. We will keep an eye on it. But take a look at this, because there's a very special promotion happening right now at Link2. And if you're a private investor or if you're into private investing in private equity and you're an accredited investor, I should say, do not mess around. And if you're already a Link2 member, click the link underneath my video to get these specials. This is the last time they're ever going to do an XRP airdrop. Check it out.
Hey, what's going on, family and friends? Ray Fuentes here, Community Director at Link2. I've got some big XRP news to share. Link2 just announced we're retiring the XRP airdrop. It's the end of an era. But before we do, we're going to make it rain XRP one last time. So listen up closely, all you savage investors. Invest $10,000 into any private company available on Link2's platform via wire transfer, wallet, or IRA, and Link2 will airdrop you $1,000 in XRP, the greatest digital asset ever created, right to your Uphold wallet. I mean, the XRP promo is live right now and expires this coming Sunday, July 31st at 11:59 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Link2.
Don't mess around. That's going to end, and it will be no more. You know, when I think about, the suppression that's happening in this market due to the lack of clarity for regulation for crypto assets, I look at that as, a way to really buy the market at a bottom, whether we're talking about private equity or digital assets. And I think this is one great way for Link2 to really participate and obviously show their support for the digital asset space, as well as the companies that are behind it, building it out. Make sure you check out the link underneath the video. All right, let's get into this. Kava is just growing like crazy, ladies and gentlemen. Kava 11 is scheduled to officially launch on August 31st for Kava 11. That's the total value locked under smart contracts will explode, they say. And guess what else? Kava Networks reaches a milestone of over 20 protocols here. Look, 20 protocols deployed on Cosmos EVM here. Look at them. This is remarkable. I have to tell you, that during this time, when we have such a lack of clarity going on, these guys are going within and they are building it out. That's what's happening here. I tell you, follow them, follow them, follow them. I'm so excited to see what they come up with, because they are connecting everything and everyone when it comes to blockchain. Check this out. The guy, Gary Gensler, who won't sit down or answer any questions to now 69,000, thanks for the correction, everyone, XRP holders, and John Deaton, But Gary Gensler has time to sit down with Vanguard, who manages his massive personal fortune. It's 120 million is what's been stated, but 100 million of that managed apparently by Vanguard. And Gary Gensler has sat down with them at least 7 times while being the SEC chair, but can't make time for any one of us to give us the clarity we need. I tell you, this is despicable. And as Crypto Law says right here, but he's met with Vanguard at least 7 times with representatives of the company managing his enormous personal fortune. It's a fair question to ask. Is Gary Gensler working for you, the people, or for himself? It is a really, really fair question to ask. Now, we all know the SEC versus Ripple lawsuit is truly heating up. The SEC completely all out now, doing whatever they can. And obviously, it is normal procedure to challenge a judge's motion and ruling. But at this point, look, you don't have to be a lawyer to know this. Judges are people too. Okay. And it is clear that the SEC, to everyone who's followed this case, has changed their version of what the William Hinman speech was 3 times, now 4 times. Now, as humans go, right, it's obvious that if you're filing a motion that says, I think the judge made the error and it should be taken out, and you should go along with what the SEC wants here for the 4th different iteration of this, I tell you, people are human and they feel certain things. And I have to say, this is not going to end well, I don't believe, for the SEC on this matter. I'm no lawyer, but I know enough to know this. You make a circus out of a judge's courtroom and she'll make a clown out of you. Keep it up, SEC. I've always wanted to see Gary Gensler in one of those little clown cars anyway. That's what we're talking about, as Jeremy Hogan highlighted here just a couple days ago, that it is now the 4th iteration of what the Hinman speech was. It is despicable, the tactics that they've used. And to add to that, we have not only been bullied by the SEC, but also bullied by Congress and Brad Sherman, to be exact, in the House Financial Services Subcommittee. Take a look at this from Stuart Alderati here. I'm going to read this very quick piece. Last week in the House Financial Services Subcommittee held an oversight hearing focused on Securities Exchange Commission, SEC Enforcement Division, despite the norm that ongoing enforcement cases are not discussed at the hearing subcommittee, Representative Brad Sherman took it upon himself to put his thumb on the scale of the largest enforcement case in crypto history. SEC versus Ripple. Sherman's off-base remarks underscore the urgent need for sensible crypto legislation from Washington. Think about that, being specifically targeted by a representative in Congress. That is, it's just unconscionable, to be honest with you. The case against Ripple, U.S.-based company, solution company, has emerged as a bellwether to get clarity on how to classify regulated digital assets in the USA. And it goes on to say here, and I want to give you this particular portion here where it is, 1 second, because I don't want to read the whole thing to you here. I just want to give you what you need. So it is right here. Representative Brad Sherman, Harvard-trained lawyer, knows that the SEC can't determine XRP to be a security. He knows that no country in the world has determined XRP to be a security. He knows the issue needs to be decided in court. In short, he knows better. As a judge made clear last year, XRP is no more a security after the SEC filed the enforcement action than it was before, because a determination resolves the question of whether XRP is a security. The enforcement action, by contrast, asks the question. The question is not yet resolved, so a determination has not yet been made. And when it is made, it will be made by the court. There you have that. As it is said, Representative Sherman comments also come fresh on the heels of the SEC's recently being called out by another judge in the Ripple case for its hypocrisy and for the adopting its litigating positions to further its desired goal and not out of the faithful allegiance to the law. Now, that kind of comment right there suggests you could almost see some kind of a disbarment action taken if this kind of tactics continue, right? So we will watch it closely. Now, here's something that really scares me, because this is what we wanted. I don't believe any kind of gotcha regulation, says CFTC Commissioner Carolyn D. Pham. Well, let's take a look at this. Shout out to Michael Branch here. Give him a follow, an incredible influencer on Twitter. This sounds so promising, but why am I still so skeptical? Oh, that's right. Because of this guy, Gary Gensler's actions at the SEC. Looking forward to seeing what's next here. Listen to what Caroline D. Pham says from the CFTC chair.
Yes, people need to know what the rules are so they can follow them. I don't believe in any kind of gotcha regulation where the rules are constantly changing on people and they don't know what they're supposed to be doing. I believe that responsible actors do want to comply with the laws. That's how they can grow their business in a compliant way. But it's incumbent upon regulators to make sure that we're providing that regulatory clarity. And we have a lot of tools to do that don't involve bringing enforcement cases where, the broad implications of this could result in, first of all, looking at the securities laws and applying the Howey test to particular types of tokens. That's something. And then there's, of course, what others have commented on, which is a chilling effect that it's having on the industry because of the fact that it's disruptive to file a complaint like this, but not have a runway or a path to the regulation and compliance.
And that's really the truth. And I tell you, it's refreshing to hear a commissioner admit that there is ambiguity and there is a vagueness and there is this gotcha kind of politics going on. And she's not down with that. But here's my concern very quickly here. The SEC and the CFTC are working closely together, and they both have admitted it from both sides, and that's fine. The problem is they believe half the market belongs to the CFTC and half belongs to the SEC. And on the face, that sounds great. But what they're using as a metric to call half and half is the market cap. And the market cap is largely consumed by the first two, which is Bitcoin and Ethereum, and then the rest of the market would go to the SEC. So if we're using market cap as the metric to determine what is half of the market or not, then does this no gotcha politics and regulation apply to Bitcoin and Ethereum, but not to the rest of the market? That's my concern. Coinbase SEC investigation could have serious and chilling effects? No, it is having serious chilling effects. There's no question about it, Cointelegraph. And let's take a look at this right here. Kathy Wood's ARK Invest sells 174,611 Coinbase shares amid 85% wipeout in the crypto exchange stock price, meaning she's cut her losses. You want to talk about a chilling effect? The chilling effect is here. And we still don't have the clarity. How is it that the SEC can investigate Coinbase for having securities on the platform, but they were complicit in allowing Coinbase to offer them while they went public? Oh, and then we turn to the global economy right here. It's Jerome Powell. Oh boy. Yeah, here we go. He's walked onto the podium here and decided to play dum-dum. He says, I don't think the U.S. is currently in a recession. You know what? You and I get the luxury of saying what we think. It's Jerome Powell's job to know. So that's already wrong. Okay, after issuing another 75 basis points rate hike. So he doesn't think that that's happening, even though he's raising the interest rates again. Oh boy, it's amazing. The U.S. Central Bank is highly attentive to inflation risk and determined to take measures necessary to return inflation to our 2% longer run goal. Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell. I can't even play this. It's so absurd what's going on here. He doesn't think we're in a recession. He's raising the interest rates. It's just unbelievable. 2% inflation. Look, I know most of people know this very quickly here. Some people don't. Inflation is not good because inflation eats away at our money. And they want a 2% target, which is their normal target. I get it. Nothing new there. But Judy Shelton calls it out and says, you know what? The target shouldn't be 2%. It should be 0 is what it should be. And I chimed in and said, Judy, let's just tell them about XRP and how it can eliminate pre-funding Nostro accounts faster, cheaper, more secure. Oh, and it can help protect all nations from spillover shocks to the global economy by acting as a bridge currency in a sort of cryptocurrency kind of way. How about that one, right? And meanwhile, while all of that's going on, the rest of the world is uniting here to create a challenge to the US dollar that's in trouble. No matter how strong you think it is, that dollar's in trouble. And they want to create, and they are creating, they're not wanting to, they're creating a new reserve currency for themselves. It goes on to say that the expansion of this is really in this thread right here. Shout out to Wall Street Silver for this one. It is expanding the countries to additionally add Turkey, Egypt, Saudi Arabia are considering joining BRICS as well, among other countries. Analysts believe that the BRICS move to create a reserve currency is an attempt to undermine the U.S. dollar and the IMF's SDR. Make no mistake about it, these countries are rich in resources and they could back a basket of whatever they decide with them. Keep an eye out. And while that's happening, we come back to the U.S. on what's going on with the very basic fundamental legislation that we need, which is on stable coins, ladies and gentlemen. Well, that's a problem too. And matter of fact, this here is, while crypto has the potential to become a big part of everyday lives, the current tax code stands in the way. And he says, obviously, Senator Pat Toomey and Senator Sinema and I are teaming up. And it is the virtual, hold on, I wrote it down here. Let me get it for you very quickly here. Virtual Currency Tax Fairness Act is what they're introducing. But remember, Senator Toomey is leaving Congress after this year, so it will be up to Senator Sinema and anybody else who likes the legislation to pick it up next time around with Congress after the election. But while we talk about that, Patrick McHenry from the House Financial Services Committee markup today says we're close on the stablecoin legislation, says he thinks the chairwoman, Maxine Waters, share the goal of advancing the bill through the committee in September. But first, a vacation.
And I thank you for your public statements. And I want to thank you for the good work of your team. And your team and my team and you and I have put a significant amount of effort into achieving a bipartisan outcome. And this is something I've said consistently on stablecoins. That's where we should be able to legislate in a bipartisan way. And you've said that similarly. But I think the important thing to say is that we're close. We're not there yet, but we're close. There have been meaningful and quite productive conversations between us and our staffs. And these conversations will continue through the summer. And I think you and I share the goal of getting this done in September, if we can. And the policy has to be right, and I know that's difficult. And bipartisanship is a difficult undertaking. But most importantly, I think I want to convey that we want to make sure that this bill, that this law, is technically proficient and a workable law. We don't want a dead letter as soon as we pass this thing. We want a workable law. And furthermore, we are interested in building off the expertise and data that we have from existing states and their existing regimes.
He goes on to encompass everybody else in it, but the reality is it's after their little break air in August and coming back and hopefully getting this ironed out. There seems to be two areas. I think one is over custody, and I can't remember the other specific area at this point, but hopefully they do get it ironed out because, look, they're not going to get crypto done in one fell swoop, right? I do realize that, and I think most everybody listening does. So, but what we do need for sure is we need to get a foundational layer of legislation at the on and off ramp, which is stable coins. And if we can get that done, I think from there, it will move quite quickly. I really do believe that. That's going to do it for me. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe, leave a comment below. I'll catch all of you on the next one.